Welcome to Fino Concept. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. What's up guys, this is Theo from Fino Concept and today I'm going to show you how to create this. In Adobe Photoshop. So let's just get into it. Let's open up our application. And because this is a business flyer or business template or whatever, I'm going to set my width and height just like an A4. So I'll go to File, I'll click on New, and basically just waiting for it to pop up. I'll just set I'll go to, that's if you're using the latest version of Photoshop, I'll go to Print, which is over here, and I'll choose A4, which is right here. So click on A4 and I'll make sure my color mode is set to RGB because it's for screens. If you set it to CMYK, probably when you are going to print them out. And I'm just going to leave everything just as it is and click on Create. So once that is done, we have this white background and a page. Now basically what I'm going to do is, the first thing is to just grab my image. So I have my images listed here in my background. So let's just open, I don't know, let's just open some up. So I have this, that, I want a bright one. Let's just go with this one. So this is our first image. I'll just click and drag onto our work right here. Now holding down Shift and Alt, I'll just click from one corner and drag it out. So I'll make it about this big, or let's make it a bit smaller. Probably this big should be just fine. And I'll click on OK. Now if you don't like the orientation of this, just go to here and click on your move tool, or just press V on the keyboard. So with my move tool, I'll just move it right around this area. I just want the light bulb to show in, so probably this area is just good for me. Now if you've been watching our tutorials, you notice that I like grouping my stuff. What I did was just click on the padlock here. If you are using an older version of Photoshop, you have to double click on the lock. So once you do that, I'll just select these two layers, 1 and 2, hold down Ctrl and press G to group them up. If you don't have this, just create a new group right here and it's just going to group them up. And I like to call this background. Okay, so on the background we are going to create, you know what, let's bring this image up, and now we can lock this particular background. So I like to keep everything organized, so I'll lock it here. Now I'm going to call this images, oops, and I'm going to group this again and call it probably main image. Oh, I can't type today. Main image, not main text, main image. Okay, so on the main image, I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'll go to my shapes. I'll right click and click on what, rectangle tool. So I just draw a random rectangle, probably about this size. Now you don't have to be perfect because I don't know. So if you want to align this entire thing, just hold down Ctrl and press A. Or better still, just hold down Ctrl and press R. That's going to bring up your rulers. You click and drag from one of the corners. Now I made a mistake. You notice that this particular rectangle is highlighted. So with my move tool, anytime I'm moving and I get to the corners of that particular rectangle, is going to snap in. This is not what we want. So what we want is, you just click, make sure no layer is selected. You click and drag from the corners, and the moment you get to the center, it's just going to snap in. So you notice that once I get to the center, it just snaps in. Okay, that's much better. Now let's align this to see if it is at the center. So yeah, already Photoshop has aligned it for me. And I'm going to double click on this particular rectangle here, double click and set the color to red because I like red. So I'm just going to with this color code. Let me copy it down. So let's just put that color code here so that I don't have to be going back and forth. Now the next thing I'm going to do is just type in. So if I select this particular layer and I start typing, everything I type, let me change the color to white so that we see what I'm doing. Now with this rectangle shape selected, anytime I type is going to be within that particular shape. We don't want that. I want it to be above. So what I'll do is create a new layer so that it will be above this particular text, and I'll type in hotels. Okay, you know what, let's make it world class hotels. I think that's much better. And I don't like Times New Roman. I'll just use Verdana. So VEN. Okay, I think that is much better. So with my zoom tool, I'm just going to zoom out of this, and I'm just going to click and drag this probably around this area. You know what, let's just leave it at the center. So with my type 2 selected, I'm going to highlight these things, this particular text. Now that way you just hold down Control and press A. So that's going to highlight everything, or you can just double click on this particular T, big T right here. So double click will just highlight everything, and I'll center it right around here. So the next thing is to play with this. So I'll just increase the font size of hotels, and let's go with 40. So I'll type in 40. Oh, come on. Let's do that again. Highlight everything, center it, double click on hotel to select, and type in 40. Now with the world class, let's just go with, I don't know, maybe 18. I think 18 is fine. Now I want to change how big this thing is. So I'll go to window and I'll click on character. So character, that's in case you don't have this. Then I'm going to change this from auto to let's try 16. Okay, so what I can do is just hover over this area and slide right or left to increase the distance between them or close it up. So right around here is fine. So we have 40, so I'll just deal with 40. Okay, now let me reduce the size of this particular shape. So holding down Alt and Shift, I'll click from this side and make it about this big. Okay, so I think this is looking nicer. So we are done with our main image. Let's go with the other two. So I'll create another group, call this other images. I think create another group, put it within this other images, and call this left image. Okay, so let's click and drag. You know what, let's just open our left image. So I'll go to desktop, another bright image. Let's go with this one. Okay, open it up, and this is how big it is. Now we want to create particular rectangles here. So let's just create any random rectangle. We want to align all of them in a specific order so that we know where we are placing our images. So I'll make this rectangle maybe the same size as the top one, or much smaller, maybe about this size. And what I'm going to do is duplicate this particular thing. So you can click and drag onto the new layer, which will duplicate it, or just hold down Control and press J. That will also duplicate it. So now I have 3 of these shapes. If you can't see, I can just click and drag them outside so that you see it's much better. So you see that they are all aligned, but they are sticking out of our workspace. So I'll select all three of them and I'll resize it, maybe about this big. Okay, this is looking nice to me. So I'll create a group for this. Let's put this and that on top. Now use these two eyes to make them invisible temporarily. So this is supposed to be our left image. So let's grab our left shape. Let's put it in the left image. Okay. Now we are going to put the particular what do you call it, image we took, which is right here. So hold down Control and press A. That's going to highlight everything. You can also do this using your rectangle tool. You just click and rectangular marquee tool rather. You just click and drag from one of these corners. So hold down Control and press X. That's just going to cut out this image and show your background color. Hold down Control and press W. So that's just going to close this up, and we are going to paste it in here. So I'll paste it in here, and you see this image is very big. So again, with our move tool selected, I'm just going to transform this right about here. Now we want this to be on top of our shape. Take the shape of our rectangle actually. Now how do we do that? We can hold down Control and press this little thumbnail right here. So if we press on it, it's going to highlight the particular part of the rectangle. Now with this layer selected, the images layer selected, when we click on add layer mask, it's just going to create a layer mask around it. But there's one way of doing it, but this is not the way I want to show you. Just right click on this particular layer, the images layer. As long as it is directly on top of this, that means there's no layer or text, nothing in between them. As long as it's directly above that, yes, I want to delete. As long as it's directly above that, just make sure this layer is selected, right click and go to create clipping mask. So that's just going to do the same thing for you, basically the same thing, as simple as that. So here is for center, so I'll group it up, call it center image. Oh, come on, center image. Let's grab our image. No, let me just grab all of these and we will cipher through them. So too dark. I think we'll go with this one. Control A, select all. Control X, cut it out. Control W, close the document. So I'll paste it in here, paste, and resize it. So right now we have it over here. It's too big. Right click, create clipping mask. So this is how we have it. Now you notice you can also resize it anytime without it actually affecting the shape. Okay, now let's grab the last one, which is obviously going to be this one. So let's unhide this. Hold down Control, press G, and call this right image. Okay, now you don't have to actually group them up like this, but for me it makes finding the work much simpler. Just imagine there are no groups and you just have to select everything and go through them layer by layer. It's too hectic. Okay, so right now we have this and we want to add in a few text. So what we can do is, when we go to, let's start with the left. So I'll zoom in using my zoom tool. I'll zoom in right around here, and I'm going to, in fact, I'm going to duplicate this particular shape. The reason why I'm doing that is I want the exact width here. I want the exact width. You don't have to do that. I mean, I can just delete it and create a new one, maybe about this big. Then once I've done that, I'll grab my move tool, then I'll make sure that it is aligned to this particular one. Now you can see, because the color is set to white, all I have to do is just let's bring this down. All I have to do is just double click and change the color. So I'll change it back to red, and we have that. Now I'm going to duplicate this and put them on this side and that side as well. So Control J, I'll put one at center and I'll put one at right image. So at center, what do we have? Let's bring it down here. At center, we have it here, and at the right image we have that one to here. So again, I'm just going to work on the left one. Now, just as I said before, if we start typing on this with this particular layer selected, it's just going to be typing on the shape. We don't want that. What we want is to type on the shape without it actually being within or around it. So what we do is create a new layer which is on top of it before we start typing. So before I start typing, I'll just what can we say about hotels? Okay, we can talk about accommodation. I'll change this to left align, increase the font size to about 16. Okay, I think 16 is just fine. Let's just change this to bold. Now if you have time with this, you can just go to the character preset and you can change some few options right here. So I'll just increase the length of the text to 110 or probably 120, just to make it much lengthier. You don't have to do this, but maybe I will even recommend it. Let's just leave it at 110. Okay, now I have a set of icons here. I don't know if you might be interested, but let me just show you a few. So you can just grab anything. I don't know, let's just play with them. Okay, so we are going to grab this home icon right here. So I just click and drag it here. Zoom. Okay, with my rectangular marquee tool, I'll just select this particular portion, create a layer mask. So you see right now we have just that part. Okay, I'll right click on the layer mask and apply that particular layer mask. So right now we just have the shape, and with my quick selection tool, or my magic wand actually, I'm just going to click on this particular part and delete it away. So what I have now is just this. I'll click and drag it and put it here. So let's zoom in and see what is happening. So I'll put it here and voila, we have this for accommodation. Now this is actually hectic. I don't want to go through this entire process. What I actually want to do is, since I have the PSD, I'm just going to open it up right here. Sorry, it's on my other screen. So let's see, it says at the top. So we have home here. So all I'll do is just click and drag it and drop it here. So on home, and I'll actually double click. Since it's a shape, I'll just double click and change the color to white. Now let's grab another thing, like, I think so like this is it. I'll just click and drag that one to over here. I don't know, rocket, probably we get something to talk about. So let's just pull this on top and hide them. Okay, so now we are done with accommodation. Actually, we are not done. You can add a few text if you want. So let's just say I have a text. What am I actually even going to talk about? Let's just say I have a text like, am I typing? Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing because I'm typing with a white color on a white background. so everything I'm typing is not visible. But don't worry, when I'm done, I'll just change the color to a much more nicer color or a brighter color so that you can actually see any color besides white. So let's just work with this, e.g. So I'll highlight everything, change the fonts to maybe 10, set this back to auto, and I'll change the color to black. Okay, so basically this is what I was typing. It doesn't make sense, huh? Anyway, I'll change it back to regular, and yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to make sense. All you have to do is when you are designing this, you have to make sure that you have your information already prepared. Okay, so I'll duplicate this again because I would just want to put them in the other. Yeah, you get me. Okay, so I'll go back to center image. Center image, this is, oh, come on. Click this and put this here. Click and put this here. So is this our center? Yeah, that's center image. So I'll just put my text here. We already have our like icon, which is right here, so I'll just bring that up. Double click to change the color to white, and let's add our text. So the text is going to be like our hotel. It's the question. I'll change the color to white. I just want it to be the same as this, so 14 blah blah blah. So let's select it, change the color to white, make sure it's set to 14, and bring it up here. Okay, it was bold as well, so bold. So right around here is just fine. You can use your move tool to make the adjustments much better. Okay, so let's just bring our previous text maybe here. So let me put that here. I'll highlight everything and center it this time around because it's at the center. Then let's do the same for the third image, which will be here. Let's pull all of this into that. So the third image, I'm going to grab these and put them inside. So first of all, these two will come here. This particular one, with my text tool selected, I'll highlight it and change it to right align. And the rocket, I'm just going to set it to white over here too, probably here. And let's just type something out. I don't know, launching. The font was 14, the color was white, and in character we set this to 110. Okay, and it was bolding. Yeah, so bolding, let's set to bold, and basically we are done with the interface. I think this is looking much better. Now you can go ahead and play with your images as much as you want, especially with the actual image. So I'll just rasterize this, go to filter, probably camera raw filter, then you just make it nicer than it already is. But if you already have a very beautiful picture, you don't have to add in a few tweaks. I just increase the clarity. I don't know, let's just play with this. I'm not going into that, but I think it actually looks much better. So you know what, I'll apply that to all my images. So this Control Alt F, that's for new Photoshop or new version of Photoshop. The old one, you just hold down Control and press F, is going to apply the same filter on all of them. So I'll just hide these particular groups. Now see how organized this entire work is. Anyway, so I'll create a new group on top and call it info, I guess. And again, I'm going to create two shapes actually. So one here, resize it maybe about this big, and I'll just duplicate that and put one on top, maybe right around here. And I'm actually going to darken this particular one, so not very black, maybe dark gray. Okay, I think this is nice. So where are we located? Typing on this particular text. No, I'll create a new layer, then I start typing. So we are located in, I don't know, Tarkwa, Ghana, I guess. Now I'm just going to make this regular. This makes the whole design much nicer. Set it to 12. Okay, and here, what do we want to put here? Maybe our website, our contact info, and our email. So you can type in contact us. Let me bring that here. Semicolon, contact us. I'll put in a telephone number, maybe 0987 blah 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 blah. I'll create another one. This one will be email. So email, I'm actually going to put phenoconcepts@gmail.com in case any of you want to email us. So I'll put that at the center. And the last one is going to be our website. So website www.phenoconcepts.com. Now what I'm going to do is make sure all these are set to probably about 10, and this particular part is going to be regular. I'm trying to fit everything here. So first of all, I'll set it to 10, and I'll make this part regular. Okay, so I'll move to the other side. Everything should be set to 10. Now you don't have to do this, you have to play around it until you get your desired result. So now contact us can come right above here. Our email can be here, and our websites can also be here. Oops, so websites can also be here. So as simple as that, we have our flyer or something. But let's just say you have a logo you want to add in. You can go ahead and create another rectangle probably at the top. So instead of creating a rectangle, I like to make everything in order. So I'm going to just duplicate this particular shape. If you're forgetting, the shortcut is Control J. I'll put it on top, and I'll bring it right above here. So let's just say it's still on our main image, so let's keep it in our main image, which is here. This is where I'm going to put our logo. So let me just grab our logo from my other screen. Photoshop, PhenoConcepts, main. So this is our logo. Sorry about this. So I'll just Control A, Control X, Control W. We've already treated that. And I'll put it, I don't know, maybe here. Let's zoom in and see what I'm doing. No, too bad, the colors are not matching. You know what, let me just grab my paint bucket tool and just, now you don't have to do this, come on, don't, I won't even recommend you using your paint bucket tool. There are better ways of doing that. You can check our other tutorials for that. And make it, I said I'll make it the same shape and the same size. So maybe the size, I'll make the length smaller, but I'll keep the width. So for the width, I'll just type in something nice. like Fino Hotel. I don't know, you probably have a better name, and I'm sure you do. So just put this in here, and since this is too long, so I'll just reduce the size whilst holding down Shift and Alt. So I think this is looking much nicer now. So thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you also disliked it, make sure you hit that button if you disliked it. But if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos. And with that said, make sure you share with your family and friends, because you don't know who might need this video more than you do. And as always, thank you again. I'll keep on saying thank you, because I don't know, you guys keep me moving. It's actually late, almost 1 a.m. and I'm here creating a video tutorial for you guys because I love you and you keep supporting me. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.